That's blocked in front. Schaefer, though, comes up with it again. Then it's knocked off her stick by Friesen, back out to center. But right back in come the Badgers. We are. But he says this year he feels the team is actually better than what the overall numbers say.
Yeah, when I talked to him at the beginning of the game, or before the game started, he said that this is the most offense that he's seen his team create. Not necessarily goals in the back of the net, but generating those opportunities in the offensive zone. And the Huskies are definitely going to need to continue that heading here into the holiday break.
Well, and that's been the biggest thing for this team. They can defend. There's no doubt about it. St. Cloud State is one of the best defensive teams in the WCHA. It's getting the puck in the other net that's been their downfall the last couple of seasons.
It is, and that was the issue that actually the Wisconsin Badgers had 2 weekends ago against Harvard. They ran into a hot goaltender, and something that Mark Johnson focused on with his team is just get the puck to the net any way that you can. Tips, screens, rebounds. They ended up scoring 15 goals last weekend against Syracuse. So
St. Cloud, the message got home.
Yeah, so St. Cloud needs to start kind of following that exact message right there of just throwing pucks to the net, and hopefully there's deflections and bodies in front.
Now Gardner puts it in behind, quick centering pass, and they score, wrapping it in on the short side.
Off guard, so that they do end up creating with some of those great scoring chances.
So what was it like when you used to go up against, teams that were considered much stronger than yours? What was the mindset for the players going into this?
Well, I think as a goaltender, you just want to do whatever you can to give your team a chance to win. Obviously, playing against Wisconsin, or usually it was the Gophers or Duluth, right. I knew that I was obviously going to see a lot of shots as compared to other teams, so just not trying to maintain as much energy as I could and just trying to give the team a chance to win. That's the only thing you can kind of flow for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Right, and even though the numbers, in the history of this rivalry between the two favor Wisconsin by a huge margin, the last 4 games have been very tight contests. I mean, even though St. Cloud State was shut out in 3 of 4 of those games, they still were competitive. They were right there, and the last one was a 1-goal game. So, I think St. Cloud has confidence that, they're not awestruck by what they're looking at here as Polusny makes it.
Like that shot kind of fooled Polusny there. Looked like a routine, simple glove save, but not watching it fully into the pocket, and she made it a little scarier than it needed to be, but she kept it out of the net.
Now Gardner stood up as she tried to drive in deep into the Husky zone. And now St. Cloud takes over. Tylke tries to chip it by one forechecker, runs into traffic, but then was able to get it in deep. Back to get it for Wisconsin. Steffen runs into traffic. Tylke takes it away. Holds it in at the blue line momentarily, but then she's pressured. And Steffen fighting there, trying to get the puck free. She's chopping at Tylke. They separate themselves as the puck comes back into the St. Cloud zone. Now along the near side. Still controls. Shaver drops it off, but now Tylke is able to force it back out into the neutral zone. Badgers, though, jump on it there. Back in, Mauerman rolls it in front. Polusny knocks it away, and Patrikas picks it up on the far side. Patrikas across the line, a long shot, gloved by Campbell, and she'll hold for the faceoff. Husky hockey fans, don't miss a moment of the action when the men's team is not here at the Brooks Center. You can visit nchc.tv to watch live games along with other great NCHC.
Over from the St. Cloud defenseman there, she picks it up and just throws it right off of Polusny skates to get the Wisconsin Badgers a 3-0 lead.
So Norby getting the goal, and for Presley, that's their 6th of the season. And as you said, getting to score in her home state. Now the puck comes back to the line, dumped in deep. Trying to work it out front. Huskies, though, intercept. Trying to chop it up the near side. Wisconsin just so strong on the puck, though, Julie. They just get with body position and really, maintain possession. Even if there's nothing there, they'll just want to hang on to it.
And that was one of the things we talked about in the pregame of a key for the Huskies is they needed to control the puck. The less time that Wisconsin has it, obviously, is good for the Huskies, but they're not doing they started to get doing a good job of limiting their offensive chances, and they started to get some of their own. And the penalty kind of swung the momentum here, so they need to regroup in these last 3 minutes and not give up another one.
Here's Emily Clark, who was an Olympian for Team Canada this last Olympics. Had it knocked off her stick, and it comes back out to center, but that shows you the kind of talent that Mark Johnson's been able to lure to Wisconsin and play for the Badgers in Madison.
And she was hurt earlier in the year, and she just returned a couple weekends ago, and so we talked about the depth of Wisconsin, and even having a player like her, an Olympian, gone for a time being, they still have a ton of offensive power.
Yeah, she scored a hat trick in her first game back from that injury, so she's definitely feeling good again. Now Haig tied up in behind her own net, but gains control, shovels it up the near side, trying to push it out along the wall. Huskies get it out to center, but Badgers come right back. Kogan feeds it on the far side. Long shot, blockered away by Luzny. Under 2 to go here in this first period. Kogan brings it back near the line, but the Badgers couldn't keep it in the zone.
Series is going to be to eliminate Wisconsin's strengths, such as their speed, which we have seen a lot of tonight so far, Jim and Julie.
Yes, we have. They have been able to get to those prime scoring opportunities, and they've been able to bury them when they get those opportunities. Such a dynamic team, but so much fun to watch, Julie.
Well, and the thing about Wisconsin is they haven't scored a lot of their goals today based on their speed. It's been more so just the time and space that they're creating in the offensive zone and giving them opportunities to get those grade A opportunities. But we haven't seen Wisconsin do a lot of end-to-end rushes, which St. Cloud is doing a good job of taking that away from them, but they need to do a better job of getting their face, sticks in the lanes in their defensive zone.
Now the Badgers can't get out as Newland applying the pressure on the forecheck, and she'll come up with the puck in the offense in the center ice zone. Drops it back, and the Huskies
goes off of Campbell. That's one that she's going to want back, but the Huskies are finally on the board after 2 games of being shut out and half the game here now. So that's a huge momentum shift for them, and hopefully that they can get back and get a little more goals here.
And that's what you were talking about. Just throw it at the net, because anything can happen. Both teams now have gotten fortunate bounces, unfortunate bounces for the goaltenders, but fortunate bounces by just putting it in dangerous areas.
Right, and that was the thing that we talked about in the pregame was Wisconsin wanted to stay out of the box. They couldn't give St. Cloud any momentum. There was no need for Pankowski to take that penalty. It was kind of in the neutral zone, kind of a broken play, but now St. Cloud's on the board, and they're starting to get the momentum back in their favor.
Now Badgers control. We'll see how much momentum St. Cloud can get off of that power play goal as Newland gets it out to center, but then it's fired right back in. Brett, back to your team in Miami. What did you see out of that weekend, though? Overall, what would you give the crew down there?
I thought the guys played well. The disappointing part was maybe on Friday night when we had 47 shots. We had chances to hopefully extend that lead in the third period. We had the 1-goal lead. Had a breakaway, had a couple 2-on-1s, trying to break that game open, and we just couldn't extend it. And Miami was playing really well. They played a really tight checking defensive game, and it was disappointing to come out of there with the 3 points from that aspect, because we thought, man, if we just execute a play or two there, maybe we can extend that lead a little bit and get away with one.
So what can fans that are watching tonight on FSN, or the ones that are watching now and are coming to the building tonight to see your club, what do you expect with Omaha coming in here?
Well, Omaha started the year, about 0-6-1. They had a really tough start, and then they had a big win at home. They split with Miami on a Saturday night, and since then they're, I think, 4-2-1. They've turned it around. You know what? They're really structured. They're coached very well. They're not going to give us much. We're going to have to earn any opportunity we can get tonight. So they're going to see a team that's got guys back. They're good defending the line in the rush. We're going to have to be really good at using our speed. And like you guys were just talking about earlier on the power play here, we're going to have to do a good job of getting pucks and bodies to the net. If we're on the perimeter all night, we're going to spend a lot of time out there looking good, but we're not going to get a lot done.
You've been around the women's game a lot at UMD. Of course, you had great success there with the Bulldogs women's program, and you guys interact a lot. it's remarkable how far this game has developed over the years.
It really is. It's fun to watch this right now. There's been some great plays out there. Obviously, it's funny. You guys were just talking about what to do on the power play. I don't know if you got a mic down to the coaches, but that's exactly what they did. And they got a goal on it. So it's kind of fun for me, too, here. Mark Johnson was my first pro coach ever, and
really?
See him coaching on the bench for the Badgers. Kind of fun to see him again.
What a shot there. Pankowski scores. She is just lethal.
A perfect example there of Pelusny making Kogan make that that shot, actually, is a great play by her to being able to poke check and kind of catch Kogan off guard there. But she's on pace to have about 50 shots this game, and she's hanging in there. Obviously the score isn't what she wants it to be, but she has to help her teammates just continue to thwart off the Wisconsin offense.
And she's gotten stronger as the day gone on. This period, even she's given up 2 here. She's played a better period, I think, and I think she'd agree too, as opposed to that first period.
Well, and keep in mind she's only a sophomore too. I mean, she has 2 years after this year to be a goalie for the Huskies here, and I mean it's just going to get her better. You don't get better when you're seeing 6 or 7 shots, and I can guarantee that Campbell might want to see a few more shots so that she just stays mentally in the game. But as the game's gone on here, her confidence has gone up. But Annie Pankowski, I mean, the 2 goals that she scored, and they're snipes. Not much any goaltender can really do about those. But like I said, Pelusny just has to have a good mental game right now and just focus on continuing to do what she's been doing this second period here.
Huskies keep it in. Newland pitches it in behind. Bigham tried to center. That's broken up, and now here comes Wisconsin back the other way. Badgers across the line. Schneider forced wide with a backhand attempt. They wave the icing here. Wisconsin has to go back and play it.
And if you're Wisconsin here in this third period, they did a great job of killing off that 5-on-3. They just want to play a sound, playing the #1 team, but they have to build on the positives and try to get some good momentum going into the game tomorrow.
Now Wisconsin in their 16th year under Mark Johnson, 476 career wins. That Wisconsin. And he now is the all-time winningest coach in women's collegiate hockey. He's led his team to 5 straight NCAA Frozen Four appearances, the longest active streak in the country right now. He's really got things rolling, and he's going to have his number retired from his days playing as a Badger coming up later this winter. So a lot of things going on for Mr. Johnson these days.
Yeah, not a lot of people in the hockey world can have a lot of success as a player and a coach.
That's very true.
I mean, that's pretty impressive on his end, but at the same time, I mean, he hasn't won a national championship since 2010 was their last one that they won. So he's obviously hungry too to get these Badgers back in that category. But it's just an awesome honor for him, and he definitely deserves it. And he's shown why so many players choose to go to Wisconsin, and it's so easy to recruit there.
So I know you didn't play for him, but you know him peripherally. What does he do so well there? Because he's so calm all the time.
Getting on the score sheet there, Shirley just does a good job of driving to the net, and it doesn't have to be pretty. Just whack at the puck, and it went in the net there. But coming into this game, Shirley was third in the team with 17 points as a freshman. So it's not just the seniors, the juniors, the upperclassmen for Wisconsin. From the freshmen to seniors, they can all do it.
A freshman out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan is Shirley. And it's now 7-1 Wisconsin. Badgers firmly in control here this afternoon, showing why they are the best in women's college hockey. Huskies trying to get something going here. Tylke picks it up in behind, throws it in front, comes back to the blue line. Huskies hold it in. Tylke waiting for it there. Julie Tylke trying to spin herself free. Brings it back to the point. Long wrist shot. Blocker save by Campbell. Rebound to Tylke again. She's having a good shift here. Finally, she gets knocked to the ice. Then the Badgers take it away, and they'll come back out to center. Pankowski. Drop pass broken up as Klug comes back to take it away from Kogan. Klug now coming through center. Gets around 2 defenders, puts the brakes. A style that's identical to the first line. I mean, you can really see how it's, been ingrained in them that, this is the way it's done here.
Right, and they might not get as much ice time as those top three lines, but I mean, tonight it just goes to show, I mean, doesn't matter who's out there, that fourth line got the first goal of the game and set the tone. So having the ability to have any of those four lines do that in the first period is huge for Wisconsin, and a big reason why they were leading the WCHA and continue to lead the WCHA in first period goals, because it doesn't matter who's out there. They just they want to get the puck in the net early and set the tone for the game.
They have set the tone here this afternoon. They outshot St. Cloud in that first period 17-4 and outscored them 4-0. And for all practical purposes, had this game in their pocket at that point after just 20 minutes.
Right, and it's deflating obviously for St. Cloud when you go into the locker room down 4, and that's just a credit to how good this Wisconsin Badger team is, because they don't give you any life, and they get the goals early, and that's been huge for the success of this team. And so going into the game tomorrow, St. Cloud has to regroup and make sure that they get the first goal tomorrow and come out as strong as Wisconsin did, if not stronger.
Now Kogan with it, brings it back to the point. Fed down in the corner, sharp angle shot, saved by Paluski. And Mark Johnson throws out there. They all have been dynamic so far this season.
Yeah, and we talked about in the pregame, all four lines contributed offensively, and that's huge, especially that's why they are #1 in the country, because of that offensive production, and they play such a sound team game, and that's what they're going to look to do today again.
So what we've seen to this point is, the kind of setup that I think this is what St. Cloud needs. They need to not get into a situation where things got away from them early in that first period.
Right, and they just, especially in their defensive zone, they don't want to do too much. They need to keep the batters to the outside, and a goaltender like Janine Alder, she's good enough where she's going to stop those, but as soon as they start getting more opportunities in the slot, that's where the Huskies are going to get into trouble.
Janine Alder comes up with the save, and let's go a little more volume of shots that her opponent netminders see.
Yeah, she didn't see a lot of rubber yesterday, is when Wisconsin does make one of the few mistakes that they do in a game and just try to get pucks on Campbell. Like we said, we didn't see a lot from her yesterday because the Huskies didn't have a lot of shots, but now they just got to throw something into the net. We saw a lot of goals yesterday that went off skates and bodies in front, so that's how they're going to beat Campbell here today.
Here's Pankowitz, who had a pair of goals. She's riding a 6-game goal scoring streak right now. The 2-time All-American and one of the captains of this Badger team is off to a sensational start this season. That shot hit Tylke. That stung. Pankowski's shot didn't get all the way through, and now the Huskies take over deep in their own zone.
And she's a sniper. We saw that yesterday on her 2 goals, but that was a great job by the Huskies in their D zone of just getting a stick on her shot and deflecting it wide. And that's something that they didn't do yesterday, and it was a credit to playing well here in the first 5 minutes in their D zone. That third forward high flying in, and she just throws it low to the net and knows that her line mate's going to be right there for the tap-in rebound. Yeah,
the defensemen are so mobile back there that really helps down, and that's why, the goaltender Campbell really doesn't have much to do, because those defensemen are so quick. They attack so quickly, like Coach Ruud was telling us. You just don't have time to really get anything going in the offensive zone because they're on you so quickly.
Right, and they have such good breakouts and they move the puck so quickly. That's the biggest thing. And I was talking to Mark Johnson before the game. We talked about transitioning and the fact that they know exactly where everyone.
Cloud #2, but Massachusetts last night, who was the #1, flamed out. They got shut out 4-0, so I think we could safely call the Huskies #1 in the country tonight. Unanimous, we'll go with that. Now the Badgers control, side of the net. Alder makes the save there, and the rebound pushed down the ice. Rolfus goes back for it. Rolfus had a goal and 2 assists yesterday afternoon in that 8-2 opening win for the Wisconsin Badgers. Huskies, though, have a chance. Haig, backhander, rolls in front. Then coming back to break it up was Curl. Huskies, though, keeping it in the zone momentarily. Pushed to the line, not out. And finally, Wisconsin's able to clear. 7:44 to go here in the first period. Huskies looking for the equalizer. Newland across the line. Poke checked off her stick. Now the Badgers come back the other way. flying across the line, trying to cut to the front of the net was Schneider. As she split the defense, she lost control but picks it up. Women's games there as well as the men. Off the face-off, long shot, blocked in front. Puck is loose, and the Huskies trying to chop it back out to the neutral zone, but it's held in as Wisconsin keeps it alive momentarily. But now St. Cloud State dumps it back down into the Badger end. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the first period. Here's Newland across the line. Dancing towards the slot. Turnaround shot. Didn't get through to the net. It was knocked down in front. Had there been a rebound there, the Huskies had a player right on the doorstep, but none developed.
And that all started in the Huskies' defensive zone. It was good puck movement by Wisconsin, but the Huskies did a good job of blocking yet another shot here in the first period that allowed them to start the rush back up into the offensive. Makes a simple shoulder save, and that's a huge save. Remember that one with a minute left in this first period, only down 1.
Coming up, the Preferred One first intermission report. Joe Scarella will bring you first period highlights and stats, and up to the minute WCHA standings. And Kirsten Kroll will give us a look at the 20th anniversary of the women's WCHA. It's come a long way in these 2 decades. Now a centering pass comes through. Rolfus steps up, throws it in behind. 30 seconds left in the period. Badgers trying to maybe get another one here late. Only up 1 here after the first period. Yesterday they were ahead by 4 at this point. Newland at center, puts it in. Rolfus takes over there, gives to Rock. She's stripped of the puck. Tylke lost an edge, gets back up. Now Newland comes in, fires a shot. That was blocked. Newland with her own rebound, puts it to the corner. 5 seconds left, and it looks like the Badgers will. Kluge falls in the corner. Huskies get it out front, but then that's intercepted. And now Wisconsin comes back the other way. And do you feel that the Huskies, okay, they got to see the #1 team yesterday, and, you know, they realized, yeah, we can play with this team.
Yeah, they don't look as timid as they did yesterday. Obviously this is the first series that they've seen the Badgers. You can talk about, you know, they're ranked #1, they do everything so well, but until you actually see it and experience it on the ice with them, you don't really understand how good they actually are. So now they saw it a full 60 minutes yesterday, and they've adjusted well. Like you said, you only limited them to 13 shots and not a lot of grade A opportunities, and 1 more goal, and they're just tie it up and back in it.
Theodosopoulos had it at center, stripped from her, and now back in comes Kogan. Kogan carries deep, tries to center, that hit the net. Penkowski after it, knocked away from her. But Penkowski with it again, high slot, looking to get that shot away. She does, and Alder drops to her knees to make the save and hold.
Shots, like you said. But the big thing is, none of them are on the scoreboard right now. The Huskies are still down only 1. Credit Janine Alder. She's seeing the puck well, covering rebounds. And the Huskies are fighting out there. And it's only going to take 1 for them to tie this game up.
Here's another shot that's deflects off the traffic as Pettit was right in the slot. But it deflected off a skate, and the Huskies now send it down ice. 13:40 to go here in the second period. Wisconsin comes in on quite a roll, as they really have gone now, I think it's 10 straight without a loss. Pettit now plays it in behind. Gartner, the defenseman, down low, centering it across. That was broken up in front by Tylke. Badgers still in control. Schaefer trying to come down the slot. She lost the handle, rather Schneider had it, lost it, and Tylke comes back the other way.
And Wisconsin loves that backside pass. Gardner was looking again for her forward, and just a perfect example again of the St. Cloud Huskies getting their sticks in the lanes. They're doing a lot better job today to support women's hockey, and especially being from Minnesota, getting to play in my home state has been an incredible experience that not a lot of people can say that they have the opportunity to do.
Right, I mean, and you could compare it almost to this league. Penalty here on Wisconsin. And so this will give St. Cloud State a chance on the power play. And yesterday they were able to cash in with the extra man for one of their 2 goals yesterday.
So much in the 20th year, and this, in my opinion, it's the best league. I mean, 16 out of 19 national championships. You can't really argue
Exactly.
that. And usually, you see Wisconsin usually towards the top of that. But like we said, any team can win on any given night, and this is a huge opportunity on the power play for St. Cloud to tie this game up at 1, and could be a huge momentum shift for the rest of the game if they can get one.
Well, Rolfus goes for cross-checking, so the Huskies go to the power play, and this is, as you said, a huge opportunity to really make a statement against this Wisconsin team. Maybe get them a little nervous, perhaps, because so far they've played with so much confidence to this point. If St. Cloud is able to come through and tie it here, it may get a little tight around the collars, so to speak, for Wisconsin.
Right, and they haven't played without a lead for not a lot of the season, I would expect, with how dominant that they've been. But we saw the goal that they scored yesterday on the power play. Theo Desopoulos just threw it to the net. It wasn't a tic-tac-toe backdoor pretty play, but it found a way to beat game here at the Herb.
So Badgers now, we'll see how they respond. Penalties cost them yesterday as they gave up 1. Now St. Cloud is 2 for 4 on the power play against this Wisconsin team, which came in as the top defensive team in the country. So pretty impressive what St. Cloud has pulled off here in that second period. And especially you have to go back to the beginning of the period where Wisconsin had the first 12 shots on goal before St. Cloud State had 1.
Well, and Janine Alder and the St. Cloud defenseman stood tall. I mean, that was the biggest thing, is she made a couple big saves, cleared the puck out of the zone, and we talked about it yesterday. One of the keys for Wisconsin, stay out of the box. St. Cloud's got a power play goal yesterday, and now today. This is even more costly, having them tie this game up, but they have to, Wisconsin has to go back to what they've been doing all year long, is just playing their simple game, getting pucks to the net, which they did in the first half, but they got to stay out of the box and not let St. Cloud have those opportunities.
Wisconsin already turned up the heat in this period when they had that 12-0 run on shots. And so we'll see what happens here. If they can find another gear, or if St. Cloud is elevated by that power play goal. Long shot in, Alder gloves and holds, and she'll hold on for the face-off. The Huskies, which bench is more excited right now?
Oh, the Huskies, absolutely, because they have nothing to lose. I mean, right now, like we said, Wisconsin probably doesn't play without the lead a lot, if at all. So this is not a situation that they're in that often, and it's easier for them to get off their game rather than the Huskies, because they have nothing to lose. I mean, the Huskies only have 8 shots. That's not a lot, but one of them's in the back of the net, so that's the biggest thing, is you can't look at the lopsidedness of the shots. But, I mean, they're doing everything that that was expected out of them, out of Coach Root, is just trying to get as many pucks to the net as they can, and doing a good job in their defensive zone, and especially the neutral zone too, not allowing Wisconsin to create any speed, and allow them to get in the offensive zone to create opportunities.
Olivia Hansen broke up that rush by the Badgers, but here they come again across the line. Shirley cutting to the net, takes a shot, Alder the save, rebound loose, bounces around, and then Alder jumps on it and holds for the face-off.
She kind of bobbled that one a little bit of Wisconsin, and that's the last thing that the Huskies want to do, is to stop moving their feet, stop skating, and get in the box and let that dangerous power play of Wisconsin out there.
And they almost picked up that hooking penalty there, but it went undetected, fortunately for St. Cloud. Nicole Lamantia plays it ahead. Norby at center. Runs into traffic, and the Huskies push it back out to center. Fighting for it there. Kluge knocked down. She's had a good game today. She's really exerted a lot of effort out there trying to get this team sparked, and here she comes again. Kluge across the line, gets it a little fancy, lost it in her skates, and the Badgers pick it up and come back the other way. Quickly across the line, Norby looking to center, backhander fired wide as Rock was cruising down the slot. Centering pass again, another shot, that's blocked. And the Huskies avoid danger again, and Newland comes back.
It's by Pankowski, back against the grain, backdoor behind the net to Kogan, but perfect example of Janine Alder being in that reverse VH and getting a shoulder on it.
Alder with the save again. Huskies feed it ahead, bouncing puck and they couldn't track it down, or it would have been a golden opportunity on the breakaway. Theodopoulos couldn't track down that hot pass. 20 seconds left. 5 players in the corner trying to fish at 3. Now Wimple barges in and knocks it loose. Gardner picks it up, plays it around to Rolfus, her defense partner, and it's fed out to center. Curl across the line. She has the lone Badger goal here this afternoon. Her centering pass broken up.
Made it feel, like you did about your experience at St. Cloud State.
I think the biggest thing is you just look at the national championship, 16 out of 19. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And like we talked about, any team can win on any given night. We've seen so many upsets in the league, and that just shows the depth of from 1 to 7 and how good each team is, and kind of just the difference that they bring. And that just shows women's hockey in general. And you look at all the other leagues too. I mean, there's so many different teams in the country now compared to there was 10, 15 years ago, and now the 20th year of the WCHA. But like I said, the national championships is kind of just what sings praises to this league, and I see that just continuing in the future.
Commissioner, what happens here in year 20? I mean, where do you want to go from that? As he said, you've dominated to this point. How do you continue that domination?
Well, I think, obviously the skill level has increased tremendously over the 20 years. And my hope is that there's more opportunities for these girls to play Division I women's hockey in the future, and that there's more institutions looking at adding programs.
Really? Is there talk right now? I know you've obviously had the situation in North Dakota a couple years back, but now there's other schools that potentially are eyeing going D1?
There is. I've had the fortunate pleasure of working with College Hockey Inc. and the NHL on some feasibility studies, and there are some.
Yes, that was broken up, and now the Huskies get it out to center, but Rolfus fires it right back in. Theodopoulos was looking for an icing call, doesn't get it, and Wisconsin keeps the pressure on. Here's Schaefer firing a sharp angle shot. Alder deflects that away. Wisconsin shooting from anywhere at this point. Alder again with the blocker save. That time coming up with the save on Norby, who had a pair of goals yesterday afternoon. Now Shaver tried to put it in front. That's intercepted, and now Newland starts back. 1-on-3. Newland across the line. Gets it in deep. Rubbed out along the back wall by Lamantia. And she'll clear it back out to center. I think, what have we had, like maybe 1 or 2 whistles so far in this period, Julie?
Yeah, we have.
Been
and
remarkable.
It talks just about the pace of the game. It's going back and forth. Even in the last minute of the second period, we had 2 really great A scoring opportunities. You wouldn't really know who the #1 team in the nation was on the ice. And right now, both teams are going back and forth. If you don't see the shots, like I said, you wouldn't know who the #1 team in the nation is right now. It's just it's been a great game between these 2 schools.
Now Penkowski coming in. Lost the edge, fell. Centering pass picked up by Newland. She'll put it off the wall. And back near the blue line. Badgers, though, keep it in as Kogan rolls it back into the corner. Now she'll pick it up there. Looking to center. And it was tipped by Tylke for 40 saves so far, Julie.
Yeah, and we talked about that. Her save percentage need to be pretty good today, along with the Husky defensemen of clearing people out in front. But interesting right now, if you look at the benches, St. Cloud, every single player is up and they're ready to go. I mean, they're cheering their teammates on, block shots. Wisconsin's sitting down. It's very interesting, the difference in these 2 teams. We'll have to see in the last 8 minutes of this regulation. It might turn into overtime or a shootout, but it's very interesting to see the 2 differences right now with this last 10 minutes of the third.
Now the Badgers send it in deep. Penkowski tips it in, goes after it, but she couldn't come up with it as Wiley beat her to the puck.
They have. They've been great since their freshman year. Very responsible, especially in the defensive zone, both of them being right wings. But they've been great, and you have to credit like St. Cloud with the whole team today and how well that they've played, and the turnaround since yesterday, doing a lot better job in their defensive zone and in the neutral zone as well, and just getting sticks in lanes. But that was a perfect example for the Wisconsin defensemen. Yesterday, Rolfus had a big goal for Wisconsin.
Right,
Today, it's
right.
Mackenzie Steffen getting up in the play. And Mark Johnson had talked about, he wants to utilize those defensemen and almost be like a fourth or fifth forward, coming into the play. So good execution by Wisconsin Badgers there. And now they're up with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's the way it's changed in the National Hockey League now. It's, you have to have almost four-man rushes to generate some kind of attack. And the Badgers have been doing that this weekend. We maybe get some overtime here this afternoon. Don't forget, more hockey action coming your way today on Fox Sports North as the #1 team in the country. On the men's side, St. Cloud State will try to complete their sweep of the Omaha Mavericks. Face off 6 o'clock tonight here on FSN. Meanwhile, back the other way, Shirley trying to dance her way through the defense, but Herzog wasn't biting on that. She broke that play up. And now Whipple plays it around to the far side. And the Huskies get it out to center. Herzog dumps it in. Alder still in between the pipes. 3 minutes to go in regulation. Icing here. St. Cloud, they get it across the line. Badgers thought it was offside, but the linesman says play on. Wraparound attempt by Patrikas was blocked. Penalty coming up here on St. Cloud. Kluge for body checking will more than likely be the call. Meanwhile, the Badgers have a shot at the empty net. And Pankowski controls off the face-off, gives it to Newland. She'll get to the red line, fires it in. And so far, Alder staying set, wanting apparently to see if her team can come up with possession in the offensive zone. Meanwhile, Kogan feeds it ahead. Coming across the line, Badgers take it deep to the corner. Schaefer with it, trying to feed the point. Does. Badgers just content to rag this puck right now. Long shot by Steffen. Blocker saved by Elder. And now St. Cloud picks it up. They get to center. Alder had started to creep out, but Wisconsin puts it right back in. 45 seconds left in regulation. Kogan just holding it in the corner, trying to burn as much time as possible. Wimple comes in, works it free. Badgers, though, dump it right back in. Wisconsin now back at full strength, actually down a skater, but it doesn't matter. They have to go for it. Elder heads to the bench once again. Huskies fire it in from center. Campbell helps it around to the near side. Leeson steps up, trying to keep it in the zone, does momentarily, but now here come the Badgers. Pankowski going for the empty net.